It's only been 7 days, it's dead on time. In only 7 days, it'll be up to Dreamer's Ball. But this week, in only 7 days. Written by John Deacon, by Queen. Crown Jewels, coming up next. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to PLD Project's Crown Jewels. I'm your host, PLD, and we are chugging along through the Queen catalog, song by song, version by version. This week, we are on In Only 7 Days from the Jazz album. I am so excited to be not even halfway through. So excited to be as far along as we have been. It feels like we're just zipping through this catalog. I'm happy to be here. I hope you're happy to be here as well. Thank you for watching these, and thank you for enjoying them as much as you have been. But if you don't, I get that too. Leave comments, leave likes, leave suggestions. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see. But this week, in only 7 days, let's get into this week's episode. First off, John Deacon writes In Only 7 Days, features Freddie Mercury on lead vocals and piano, Brian May on the guitar, John Deacon on the bass, and the acoustic guitar as well, and Roger Taylor on drums. This, like last week, will be a quick episode because we only have one version to listen to, so not a whole lot of choice. Usually we have 4 or 5 choices, mixes, singles, live versions, re-edits, re-versions, whatever. We have a lot of different versions to choose from. Not so this week again. In only 7 days, we only have the album version that appears on Jazz 1978. Not a lot of history either. Look, I try to give a lot of notes and quotes and stuff. This was not a lot to dig up on this one. I got one quote from Brian May saying from 1978 in the Boston Globe, it's in the style of some of the stuff we did on A Night at the Opera, but it's an even bigger arrangement than anything we've ever done. Well, Brian tends to be hyperbolic at sometimes. I mean, it's what it is. Exaggerate's a strong word, but he tends to try to big up things. And so I don't know if I could say that it's a bigger arrangement than anything they've ever done, but it is a nice arrangement from John. Very slow, soft piano ballad, depressingly sad song, but sung so sweetly by Freddie. It had never been performed live as far as I know. I always want to put that out there because for nothing else, I never heard every concert. And the concerts weren't quite as covered as well back in the 70s, so you never quite know. For years, we thought the band never did for Fairy Feller Masterstroke, and all of a sudden we get the Live at the Rainbow box set. Boom, there it was. So let's get into this week's song. Let's listen to it. Having listened to it, look at the show notes. You'll see I have put a document down there with the link to the YouTube version because I don't want to get any strikes here. I don't want to deal with any of that crap. So you will click on that link, but after pausing me, listen to the song yourself and come back, and we shall talk about it. So let's get to it. Listen to it. Come back for more. Well, there you have it, guys. Such a nice piano opening. It actually almost feels, the whole song almost feels a little Billy Joelish, maybe. In fact, I can actually see Billy Joel covering this. Right? Not quite with the same falsetto-y approach that Freddie does some of the effort, but definitely he would do a good job with this song. Freddie's voice is a bit higher, a bit lilting, a little quietly suggestive in a way, very laid back kind of thing, very breathy. He always uses a lot of breath support, and he comes across very breathy at times, but this is a more laid back version of it, almost like a accepting of something kind of sad, but very, very beautiful indeed. Brian using the guitar as a string section, typical for Brian in this case. There's no power chords in this one. There's no flaring guitar solo. So he takes his guitar and kind of layers it with some nice orchestral sounds, maybe making the superfluous on top of the rest of the track in a way, the frosting on the cake, as if you were. There is a guitar solo. It's a nice place for that string section as John plucks that acoustic guitar. It's nice to hear John playing on his own tracks. He's the one who wrote the song. He knows what he wants. And if he can play the guitar, why not? He's not a bad guitarist at all. This doesn't need a speed-like guitar solo, like Van Halen-esque kind of solo or any rip-roaring solo. So it's a nice little acoustic solo while Brian layers on those electric strings, so to speak. Very nice. I do like the part of the Going Back Home on Sunday, added that nice percussive piano That brings us out to the outro. It's a very nicely crafted song. Again, I don't see. I mean, I'm not a musician. I've played music before. I played some piano. I've done some singing. I've played some rudimentary guitar and stuff. When I listen to this, I don't hear the big arrangement Brian's talking about. As far as, but maybe it's hidden. Sometimes the band hides things. I know when we hear acapella versions or whatever, or karaoke type versions, you hear more because things are kind of buried between the vocals sometimes or layered over things. Sometimes there are things that you just don't even hear that are there that add up to it, but you would miss if they weren't there. But I don't say anything too overly done about this, but it is a different kind of track for Queen. It's not one of their usual standard kind of things. Very laid back throughout overall, not a whole lot of tempo changes or anything like that. But it's nice. It's a nice song. Typical of John Deacon to do. He doesn't write a whole lot of very layered or difficult song. He tends to be more of the pop orientation, which is good. I think it makes up. It's one of those kind of ingredients you put in to make that great cake that is Queen, the band, the Queen, the full band at that point. Yeah, so very cool, very cool. This is where I'd usually rank them and rate them, but I can't because there's no, again, that's it. That's the crown jewel, the album version. Now on a scale of 1 to 11, because we always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Project, that I can do. This track, it's a fine track. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't listen to it all the time. I'm going to give it a nice solid, I'll give it a 6.5. Again, I won't skip it, but I usually don't seek it out either. When it comes on, I do have it's like a nice surprise. I kind of, it's nice to hear those Freddie vocals in the background of whatever I'm doing. But I'll say, yeah, 6.5 for that. All right, rating the top 10. Well, you know by now if you've been listening, all the songs that are in the top 10 are 10.5 or 11. So this is definitely not going to be in my top 10. Been a while since we've revisited it. We'll have to see if anything comes up soon. I know there's one song coming up that might just do it. We'll have to see. But that's not this week, folks. Next week, is it next week? I don't know. It might be next week. Next week, Dreamer's Ball, Brian May's tribute to the King, tribute to Elvis in a way. It's very definitely got a couple different versions to listen to here. One of those songs that are, again, it's like I always say a song is unlike Queen, but then again, what song is like Queen to a degree? I mean, there are some, but I wouldn't. But the band's main thing is basically just doing a lot of different things, a lot of different genres, a lot of different tones. You get a lot of these tracks that are kind of like, oh, it's a different take for them. Dreamer's Ball, another different take for them, but it's definitely a fun one. But that will be next week in only 7 days here on Jules. Like me overusing that joke. I don't know. Maybe I do. I have to overuse jokes all the time. That's all right. All right, guys. That's it for this week. Thanks for sticking around and watching this one through. If you like I said, subscribe, all that stuff. If you want to join Patreon, patreon.com/PLD Projects. Austin Goodell, Bernie Buckingham, great crew. Love those guys. Love everybody in my Patreon. They really do help me keep the lights on, and you can do that too. You can help me do more on the channel. Hopefully I can get back to doing more on the Patreon itself. I admit a little slow so far. We had different scheduling issues here, some home issues I've had to deal with as well. But I want to get back to doing some extra content there, and I want to try to do some Queen content on the Patreon as well, or at least some musical content. Still kind of figure that out, but that's it. If you can't, I totally get it. Like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Let me know you care. All right. Until next week, guys. Stay tuned. As always, you got stuff on this channel for the Queen fans. If you want to go to my other YouTube channel for TV, movies, Star Wars, horror movies, V from the 80s. We got lots of stuff over there for you to listen to too. Doctor Who coming back. That's another one I do on the main YouTube channel. But yeah, what do you guys? Take care. We'll see you next week.